Okay. I was not planning actually on filming any of this, and then I got halfway through the job and I was like, I should probably film something here. I am in the middle of converting the car from a Getrag 260 transmission to a ZF transmission, which is basically the same procedure as you saw a couple videos ago. The main difference is being you do have to change the adapter plate because the transmission sits at a different angle. So this thing is all clearance for the starter and is all set up in the back and pretty much ready to go in, minus a fluid change. And then I had the flywheel out to change the adapter plate, and I'm putting my new clutch in, and that thing's good for an additional like 100 foot-pounds or something like that. The old clutch is actually completely fine, I guess. It had a decent amount of life left on it, but just could not hold the power, as you saw in the last video. So under here we got the blank block. I still have to pull off the Getrag adapter plate and put the ZF adapter plate on, put the starter back in, and pretty much put everything back together the way it was that you guys saw. Just kind of wanted to do a quick little overview, and then when the swap is done, we'll take it for a drive. Now, I don't really think that swapping to this transmission is going to fix the problem. I think there's some kind of issue with the drive shaft length and the rear end and some kind of harmonic imbalance or something like that. But since I'm swapping to the Getrag G80 LSD, which comes out of the Cadillac, I wanted to just switch over to the ZF because I think it's going to be a lot nicer transmission. These come out of the E30s. They are 30 plus years old. Those ZFs come out of E46s. It's a much newer, much nicer transmission. They shift a lot better, they're stronger, and I wanted to switch to it, so that's what I'm doing. For the clutch, I'm using the same pressure plate that was in there originally, but just the disc is changing. This is a full face organic disc. You can kind of see like a threaded texture on the surface there. And then this is a 6-puck sintered metallic, I believe it's called. You can see there's no threads. It's a completely different material that can take a lot more heat and grips better, and it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to drive, but will definitely hold more power. Alright, we got our E46 slave cylinder installed, and the old E30 slave cylinder is removed, and the new adapter plate is in place. Just got to put the starter in, and then clutch and flywheel, change the transmission fluid in the new trans, and this thing's going to be ready to go back in. He was trying to jump in. Nice try, buddy. You just have to fill up until the fluid spills out of the drain port when the transmission is completely level. This right here is why you can shift a little bit quicker with 6-puck discs over a full face, because this disc has less momentum than one with a complete disc, and every time you shift, this has to change velocity very quickly when you go into the next gear. So the lighter this disc is, the quicker you can shift. You can shift even faster with unsprung clutches because obviously you don't have the weight of the springs and the hub inside there, but that's also much harder on your transmission, so I've gone with the sprung hub to be safe. Unsprung hubs are also much more difficult to drive. The starter is in, flywheel is on. Just getting ready to torque it down with my advanced torquing flywheel holder apparatus. Once it's torqued down, make sure your alignment tool easily slides in and out. Also, don't forget your throwout bearing before you put the transmission in, otherwise you're gonna have a real bad time when you go to push in the clutch. For anyone wondering, the Getrag 260 is 80 pounds wet with the drive shaft adapter. The ZF 5-speed is 84 pounds. Another thing I'm excited about is, you guys might remember how I was complaining that the IRP shifter was too short of a throw. Well, the Getrag itself, that's how long the shift is from 3rd to 4th. The ZF, oh boy, look how much longer that throw is. So it's actually 55% longer, and the throw is gonna go from about 2 inches to just over 3 inches, measured at the top of the knob, which is gonna be way nicer. So that's the clutch that I just removed, and that's the clutch that I'm putting in. From 399 to 511 foot-pounds capacity. There's no way I'm gonna get this to slip. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see that thing in there. It actually went in super easy, first try. I just put the shift linkage in. Oh, I gotta see how this shifter feels. First of all, check this clutch out. Feels pretty good. Squeaky boy. I've had a new bushing for that thing for like 6 months. Still haven't put it in. That is so much nicer. That is so much nicer. I'm stoked on that. I can't wait to drive this thing. I got a couple more bits and pieces to throw in, and of course, as usual, burning daylight. I cannot get over this. Even when the car was parked, the Getrag was so hard to pull out of gear. This thing is like literally nothing, dude. Look at that. Nothing. All right, let me get back to work. On the Getrag, I gotta trim a big piece off of the bell housing to get the 3-inch downpipe to fit. That is unmodified ZF right there. Tons of downpipe clearance. That's a full 3-inch downpipe. We got clearance everywhere. Merry Christmas to me. I now have a ZF in the car. She's down on the ground. As soon as I go get some dinner, because I am starving, I'll come back and take this thing for a rip and see how it feels. All right, I decided to wait until the next day, so I had some daylight. We are gonna drive it for the first time with ZF right here, right now. All right, so for those of you who have never driven a brand new 6-puck clutch, it's a little different from your standard OEM style full face. The first time you take off, you're gonna tell yourself, oh wow, this clutch is so easy to drive. What's everyone talking about? 6-pucks are hard to drive. That's because it's not broken in yet. However, 6-puck clutches break in very, very quickly. I've only started off like 3 times and I can already feel it grabbing harder. So, I mean, you go around the town 20 miles maybe and the thing is fully broken in. When you go to pull back in your driveway after the first drive out, you're gonna be like, that's what everyone's talking about. I gotta take it a little bit easy just for the first couple takeoffs here. I am loving the longer throw on the shifter though. That 2.3 is gonna take a little bit of learning. I probably have to adjust the stops on the IRP shifter. Also want to kind of let the transmission come up to temperature, so you know, transmissions usually are a little bit more notchier. They might grind a little bit when they're cold, but once everything comes up to temperature, that's when they should be acting prime. Oh, all right, that was wheel spin. That was definitely wheel spin. The clutch is holding well already. It has like not even a mile on it yet, and it's already hooking up pretty good. My ACT full face, even after 300 or 400 miles, I still had issues with it slipping. And then once it was up to like 1,000 miles, it started holding, you know, to the peak of its ability. I could even give this thing a little bit of a rolling slip here. And as I discussed before, I wasn't really expecting the transmission to fix the vibration issue. I really just did want to convert over to a ZF. I really think the V8Roadsters differential swap with that shorter drive shaft and, you know, the whole new dip setup, I think that's really what's going to be the thing that solves the problem, hopefully. I should probably turn my other GoPro on so you guys can actually see what's going on. are absurdly short right now. The ZF has a 1 to 1/5 gear, where the Getrag has a 1 to 1/4 gear. So I'm in 5th right now, but as far as the RPMs go, it's basically like I'm in 4th. And you can start in 2nd gear easily, so I do need to get the Cadillac diff put in the car, and that's a 323, so that will really help with the ratios. There's that aggressive 6-puck start off. Let's feed this beast some ethanol, shall we? So pretty much as I suspected, at the same speed, the vibration comes on with the same severity because it's just something that's going on behind the transmission. The trans itself is not causing the issue. So I'm planning to, within the next, I'm gonna say 2 weeks, doing the V8 Roadsters diff swap. That will make it so the drive shaft is shorter and obviously have a completely different differential mounting system. So I'm hoping that irons it out, but we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.